hyenas were closing in. Two terrified cubs, barely 3 months old, huddled together in the thorny bush. One spotted, one dotted. Natural enemies by birth, united by fear. In the next few minutes, they would either die together or discover that survival has no rules. This is the story of nature's most defiant bond. Shadow and Swift, a leopard and a cheetah. Two different species, two different destinies, but one single heart. In the endless savannas of Tanzania, in the heart of the Serengeti, two separate stories began with the same tragedy. Dawn was about to break and hunting time was ending. Two mothers from two different species were making one last effort to feed their cubs. Amara, the young leopard female, waited patiently on the tree branch. Her 3 cubs slept below in the safe den. The smallest one, Shadow, whose black spots were still forming, was searching for his mother's scent. Amara had to hunt tonight. The cubs were growing, and milk was no longer enough. At the same time, 5 kilometers away, cheetah female Zara was chasing an antelope at full speed. Swift, the fastest of the 4 cub mothers' litter, was eagerly waiting for his mother's return. His small body didn't yet possess that legendary speed, but the fire within had already begun to burn. But that night, both mothers' fates would change forever. When Amara attacked the antelope herd, she didn't notice the hyenas were also in the same area. She caught her prey, but too late. The hyena clan surrounded her. Amara fought bravely, her claws tearing through the air, but she was outnumbered. When the scent of blood filled the savannah, everything was over. Zara's end was more tragic. Returning from her hunt, she was hurrying to reunite with her cubs, but she didn't realize she had entered the territory of the large male leopard, Max. Cheetahs are very fast, but when exhausted, when badly wounded. Zara's last breath was her cubs' names. When the sun rose, 6 cubs were orphaned. 3 days passed. Hunger, fear, and loneliness drove the 6 cubs in different directions. Shadow separated from his leopard siblings. They could climb high trees, but he wasn't strong enough yet. Swift also fell behind his cheetah siblings. They could run in open terrain, but he didn't possess that speed yet. Fate brought the 2 losers together under the same shade. Under the acacia tree, Shadow, exhausted from the heat, was searching for water. His small tongue was dry, his eyes misty. At the same time, Swift also took shelter in the shade of the same tree. When the 2 cubs saw each other, they froze. Nature's law was clear. Leopards and cheetahs are enemies. Their mothers would have taught them this, but these 2 cubs would give anything to hear their mothers' voices. Shadow slowly backed away. Swift did the same. But then, Shadow's stomach growled. So did Swift's. Both of their last meals had been their mother's milk. At that moment, nature's greatest rule was broken. Survival was more important than anything else. The next morning, Swift caught a small lizard. It was his first successful hunt. Carrying it proudly in his mouth, he saw Shadow again under the same tree. The leopard cub had grown very weak, his eyes sunken. Swift stopped. His instincts said, "Run." But another voice, a stronger voice, said, "Stay." He slowly approached Shadow. He placed the lizard on the ground. Then he backed away. Shadow didn't understand at first. Then he saw the lizard. Hunger was stronger than pride. He quickly pounced on it and ate the best meal of his life. That day, 2 enemies shared a meal for the first time. Days passed and the 2 cubs realized that their togetherness was not just friendship, but survival. Shadow benefited from Swift's speed to chase small prey. Swift benefited from Shadow's strong claws to crack hard-shelled insects. But the real test came a week later. While the two brothers were playing in a small meadow, a hyena pack appeared, 6 of them, hungry, aggressive, and seeing 2 easy targets. Shadow and Swift froze. There was nowhere to run. The tree to climb was too far. There was no bush to hide. This time we're really going to die, Shadow thought. But Swift thought differently. If we're going to die, let's die together. The 2 cubs stood side by side against the hyenas. Shadow extended his claws. Swift showed his teeth. Natural enemies would now fight like brothers. When the hyenas attacked, a miracle happened. Swift used cheetah speed to distract the hyenas, confusing them by running left and right. Shadow used leopard agility to attack the hyena's eyes. His small claws were causing great damage. 2 different fighting styles had combined in perfect harmony. Swift ran, Shadow struck, Shadow defended, Swift distracted. The hyenas were confused. Normally, 2 different species wouldn't work in such coordination. These cubs were different. The battle lasted an hour. Finally, the hyenas grew tired and retreated. Both cubs were wounded, but alive. Swift licked Shadow's wound. Shadow cleaned Swift's bleeding paw. That night, 2 cubs from different species cuddled together and slept for the first time. They were no longer just survivors. They had become brothers. Months passed. As Shadow and Swift grew, their differences became more pronounced. Shadow began to develop strong muscles, while Swift discovered his legendary speed. But at the same time, they discovered their similarities. Both loved night hunting. Both were fond of water. Both preferred watching the landscape from high places, and both became restless in each other's absence. One day, when Swift didn't return from hunting, Shadow searched for him all night. When he found him injured the next morning, he embraced him with tears. Another day, when Shadow was bitten by a venomous snake, Swift didn't leave his side for 3 days. He protected him, brought juicy fruits, cleaned his wound. They were no longer just surviving. They were protecting each other. But the story didn't end there. Other animals looked at this strange duo with suspicion. The leopard colony rejected Shadow because he carried cheetah scent. The cheetah herd excluded Swift because he showed leopard behaviors. "You are against nature," said the old elephant matriarch Amina. "This cannot continue." "Every species has its place," said the rescue hawk Kale. "Don't mix the boundaries." But Shadow and Swift didn't care. For them, what mattered was not species difference, but unity of heart. One day, the large male leopard Batu came to bring back Shadow. "You are one of us," he said. "End your relationship with that cheetah. Return to your real family." Shadow looked at Batu, strong, imposing, from his own species. Then he looked at Swift, delicate, fast, from a different species, but his brother. "My family is here," said Shadow. He moved next to Swift. Batu attacked, but this time, Shadow wasn't alone. Swift was also there. The 2 brothers fought together and turned Batu away. That day, they won their first victory against social rules. 2 years passed. Shadow was now a strong young leopard, Swift a fast young cheetah, but they were still together. The great test came during drought season. Water decreased, prey numbers dropped. The survival battle began. Strong animals crushed the weak. Few animals could survive alone. Shadow and Swift developed a different strategy from other animals. Swift chased antelopes in open terrain, exhausting but not killing them. Then Shadow entered, finishing the tired prey with his strong claws. This teamwork made them the most successful hunters in the region. Other animals watched in admiration, but the biggest test came on the day when even elephants died from thirst. There was only one water source left in the savannah, a small lake with hundreds of animals around it. The strong ones got close to the water, the weak ones died. Shadow and Swift also needed water, but around the lake were lions, leopards, cheetahs, hyena packs. Everyone protected only their own species. The two brothers watched from afar. Then Swift had an idea. "I'll create a distraction," he said. "You get water, then we'll switch." "Too dangerous," said Shadow. "Brothers protect each other," said Swift. The plan began. Swift dove among the herds with cheetah speed, surprising everyone. While he ran, Shadow approached the water. He drank quickly, then retreated. Then roles switched. Shadow created distraction. Swift drank water. Other animals watched this cooperation with amazement. Two different species were working in perfect coordination. That day, they not only survived, they helped other animals survive too. Years passed. Shadow and Swift were now adult animals. Shadow a strong and agile leopard, Swift a fast and intelligent cheetah, but they were still side by side. As their story spread, other animals began to change too. Zebras protected elephant calves. Antelope herds brought water to giraffe young. Peace emerged between hyena and jackal packs. Shadow and Swift's friendship was changing the laws of the savannah. One day, young leopard female Yara was playing with orphaned cheetah cub Lightning. When old elephant Amina saw this, she smiled. "Maybe we were wrong," she said. "Maybe nature's most beautiful law is love." But the biggest test hadn't come yet. When Shadow and Swift turned 6, mating season began. Nature was calling them to mate with their own species. Beautiful leopard female Lily showed interest in Shadow. Graceful cheetah. Female Breeze approached Swift. For the first time, the two brothers had to choose separate paths. Shadow spent time with Lily. He began becoming a strong leopard male, establishing his own territory. Swift ran with Breeze. He began becoming a fast cheetah male, determining his own hunting grounds. For a month, they lived apart, but both felt the same thing: incompleteness. When Shadow went hunting with Lily, he missed Swift's speed. When fighting with the strong leopard female, he searched for Swift's agility. When Swift ran with Breeze, he missed Shadow's strength. In difficult moments, he searched for Shadow's courage. The two brothers met on the same hill, on the same night. There was no need to talk. They just embraced each other. "Family," said Shadow. "Brother," said Swift. Lily and Breeze understood the situation. The bond between the two males was stronger than romantic love. This was a brotherhood bond. In time, Lily and Breeze also became part of Shadow and Swift's lives. 4 animals formed a strange but happy family. Lily gave birth to leopard cubs. Breeze gave birth to cheetah cubs. Cubs from 2 different species were raised by 4 parents. Small leopard cubs learned cheetah speed. Small cheetah cubs learned leopard strength. A new generation was being born. A new generation that didn't recognize boundaries, grew up with love, turned differences into strength. Today, in the Serengeti, the story of Shadow and Swift is still being told. Old elephants tell young elephants. Wise wolves tell young wolves. Once upon a time, they say, there were 2 enemies, but love turned enmity into brotherhood. Shadow is now 12 years old, an elderly leopard. Swift is the same age, an elderly cheetah. Both now move slowly, but they still hunt together, rest together, live life together. When the evening sun sets, they sit side by side, watching the savannah. Two different silhouettes, one heart. Some friendships are born from blood ties. Some begin with common interests. But the strongest friendships are born from shared pain and grow with shared victories. The story of Shadow and Swift teaches us this: the boundaries that separate us in the world are boundaries we draw ourselves. True love erases these boundaries. Two cubs had met under a bush in fear. Today, two brothers enjoy a life filled with love. Because sometimes the strongest bonds are born in the most unexpected places. And sometimes the greatest enemies become the best brothers. If Shadow and Swift's story moved you, share it with us in the comments. If you believe this bond deserves to be remembered, subscribe to our channel for more stories from the wild. Because some stories are lived once and remembered forever.